The Pale Isle is the registry's principal ward, and by nature of its proximity to the White Spire, mostly exists to serve the desires and wants of the members of the registry. There are numerous taverns situated on the Pale Isle, as well as other recreational facilities that help the people of the White Spire take the edge of life in the Shadowed City. So, in case you haven't noticed, this is going to be a let's play with a lot of reading. Because again, this is like Transistor, a lot of lore behind a lot of text. So,
aren't you forgetting something, scum?
Oi, I'm talking to...
Of all the souls, I never thought I'd get to see you again.
What do you want?
What do I want? I want you to have a taste of what we went through because of you.
what happened exactly?
Oh, the mouse has teeth. Let's see how well he bites.
Hold your ground!
That's an interesting way of talking.
I'm better than this.
Okay, I think I'm supposed to die here.
Over here!
Well, there we go.
The man who lives like a coward deserves to suffer like one.
Valencio, Sir, I swear... I didn't...
I am in love with this man. Just bitch slapping the
Attention.
guard here.
We are in the middle of a war, Sinencio. Do you understand that?
I didn't...
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Your masquerine is to be used against the mask runners of the city, not against its citizens, exiled or not. You have demonstrated a sore lack of understanding with regards to the utilization of masquerines. You will unbind from your masquerine and have the privilege of its company revoked for a period of 10 days. Keep me waiting any longer and it'll be 30.
Nice. Fantastic. So the masks
Go.
are not like individual. They're, I guess.
You lucky bastard. If I hadn't been out for a drink...
At this time, someone's picked up some habits.
Why are you here,
He's a
Cicero?
healer.
A man with your
I love
reputation
him.
must be either mad or desperate to return to the city.
Here, read it.
Summoned back to Umber at the request of the Verone, your
this
exile will be
Umber.
revoked and you will be granted a grand sum of... So what? You're back for the money?
Mad or desperate.
And do you know for what reason you've been called back?
If you can decipher anything from this cryptic mess, please.
You need to see a Vestus.
Accompany me? I think it'd be a good time to hear what's been going on.
You mean it'd be good to have a bodyguard?
Well, I
Yep.
was trying to be nice.
Come on. He's in the White Spire.
I ship it. So, binding. The first step that any Masquerada needs to take before being able to use a Masquerine is a process called binding. It is a simple task. All it takes is a mere imagining of a connection between the Masquerada to be and the Masquerine, and it is done. The consequences, however, are far from simple. Should a Masquerada perish while bonded to the Masquerine itself fades away into a fine dust that blows away on invisible winds, which is what we've seen with Cyrus. No, I am Cyrus. No, I'm not Cyrus. I'm Cicero. I think my brother is called Cyrus. That was very sad. If there has ever been a better personification of stalwart duty than Tristan del Sol, I have yet to find it. The current Valencia of the city and I have quite the history together. Tell me more. We had both been portieri at the same time and had served in the same section when we were but Alencios, just starting out our careers. He joined the forces because of his family's legacy. One of the first few Valrones of the city had been Ramos del Sol, whose assassination served as the spark that began the events that led up to the March of Broken Songs. Despite his assassination, however, the ancient Del Sol was reputedly a great man and an excellent fighter. Tristan admits freely that he feels no emotional connection to the story of his great forebear, but his father had wanted him to be a part of the portieri, as his father did before him, and so on and so forth. Though Tristan couldn't have cared less about what Ramos would have thought, he certainly was a great deal more concerned about the opinion of his own father, who himself had been the Valencio before Tristan. It was, in fact, his father who had allowed me to join the portieri, though that is a story for another time. So yes, all of this is from his point of view. And so Tristan and I began our journeys together. Again, I ship it. He, the descendant of some famous politician, and I, the descendant of a contadani, smith, and a florist. Adorable. Let's go. Oh. I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but you know. Let's go. The Valencio. So many things. Leading the ranks of the portieri is the Valencio. In charge of the training and regimentation of all the portieri, the Valencio is not a figure to be trifled with. Though few outside the registry or even the portieri understand fully the burdens and responsibilities of the Valencio, none in the city will dare doubt the branding prowess of they who held the title. So, is the Valencio basically a captain? Hi there. Hello there. Hello there. Morlor?
Would you look at that?
Huh. Elysian stones. I'd have expected the war to curb trade a little.
It did. For about 3 months, until the countries across the belt realized how much they missed our work.
And so they decide to send their traders to a country steeped in civil war.
It isn't that bad. The bloodiest sons have all set. We're just cleaning up what's left of it. In fact, I think in a few years it'll be completely over.
Let's keep going.
Optimist. Okay then. Elysia, the land of the greatest philosophers. Elysia was the first country from across the belt to trade with Umber. It was Elysia's influence over the early settlers of Umber that nourished the sect within the registry known as the Vigilus, the scholars of the city. Elysians pride themselves on their philosophical pursuits, though that seems to have distanced them none from the avarice that Umber tends to inspire. Whatever the case, the city is and will continue to be welcoming of the Elysians' interest in the city, for Elysia is the one country that provides Umber with blood poppy, a flower that yields a brilliant crimson dye with a richness found nowhere else. Used pretty much everywhere I see, especially in the uniform. Kitty! I wish I could pet you, but this game is the worst. I can't do it. I don't know why I keep trying.
I want it!
We don't care. You're at least a week away from another rotation.
I'm the best firebrand here, and you know it.
Get lost, Travis. You know there's no way you're going to get it.
Were they arguing over a— Aren't there enough to go around?
The war. Ever since your brother gave out all those Masquerines to the Mask Runners, the death toll on both sides has been great.
And you've been losing Masquerines.
So long as they sit upon a dying face, to the dust they go. And now, the city is running out of them. Everyone's feeling it. The guilds, the Mask Runners, the Registry. The Vegelus even suspect that in the next 50 years or so, there'll be fewer than 100 Masquerines left.
But there were thousands before. Surely 5 years.
5 years have crippled this country, Cicero. I am sorry. That did not come out as smoothly as I had intended.
That's
You're tired. I understand.
You would, wouldn't you? Well, let's not keep a Vestus waiting.
What does that mean? Stop! I ship you already. You don't need to make it more easy, make it even easier for me to ship you. Let me get rid of this. Binding Masquerines. If there were one thing that defined Umber, it would not be the Masquerada, or its artistic landscape, or even the mountain under which it hides. It would be the Masquerines. Masks of magic that grant their wearers the ability to harness the elements with efficiency. The Masquerines are the distinguishing element that separates the country from the rest of the world that surrounds it. When I first came to the lands of Umber, the Masquerines were already there, and in the early ages of Umber's history, they were feared. The effects that using Masquerines had on their wearers was not completely understood, and neither was the act of using them. People regarded the Masquerines with apprehension, for they did not comprehend the mechanics behind their powers. Even till modernity, there are remnants of that apprehension, though society has mostly gotten over their fears, having been spurred forward to embrace the Masquerines for the power they promise. This power the Masquerines hold has been ever more valued in recent years, especially considering their disappearing nature. Masquerines inexplicably vanish should they be worn upon the face of a dying being. Again, the reasons behind this death rattle are just as shrouded in mystery as the origins of the Masquerines themselves, but have rendered the artifacts a quickly disappearing commodity. Okay then. So I was wondering, the portraits in the banners for Cyrus, it was like a grey one. I guess because Cyrus was a mask runner, maybe. But for Cicero and everybody else, well, not everybody else. Lucia had a blue background, and she was the only one having a blue background, I think, in the prologue, or at least that I can remember. Or at least that's when I started noticing it. But now that I started again, I'm pretty sure everybody has a blue background. Everybody has had a blue background now that I started the actual game. So let's see, what's this?
What are they up to?
You don't recognize it. That's Gavar's Caprice. I'm surprised it took you so long to spot it.
So, Gavar is my surname. I'm guessing it's because of Cyrus. Was Cyrus, what is it? A Valencio? I'm still not sure of the hierarchy. So Valencio is a captain, but it's not, the top of, like, it is just the captain of the Portieres, which these guys, I think, are training to be. I don't know. Anyway. The media? Huh? The media are methods practiced by the Masquerada to better harness the powers of the Masquerines. Like if you have a social media account... I'm sorry. Just if you have, a Facebook account, your Masquerine is gonna be weaker than if you have a Tumblr account. That Tumblr account is very powerful. There is some hidden knowledge hidden behind the code of Tumblr or something. Listen, nobody understands Tumblr. Anyway, how the media help in the wielding of this power has yet to be fully understood, but it has been determined that through the practice of certain forms of craft, the Masquerada gains the ability to channel their powers with more finesse and precision. The elements bend more precisely to the will of Masquerada while practiced in a media. Oops, sorry, wrong analog. There are to this day 7 known media, 6 of which has been classified into pairs. There prevails the belief that, according to the patterns of the media, there must exist an 8 as well, though the Vegilus have been unable to ascertain either its presence or its nature. I'm gonna have the 8th one, right? I mean, it has to be. The various media in their pairs are the Fisica, Medanza and Merobusto, the Visiva, Mediare and Meseniare, Dieteria, Mecantare and Merumento, Mescenza, that currently exists alone. They're gonna say Mescenza, right? More lore, more lore, more lore, more lore. Sitting at the highest point of the city, the White Spires have a view that covers all of its charge. It is the pinnacle of the Registry's authority, the embodiment of its role as guardian and caretaker of Umber. Certainly there are many in this day that disagree with the Registry's methods and dispute their efficacy. But the fact remains that the Registry stands to watch over us all. Built upon the ancient ruins of some long-forgotten tower, the White Spire was constructed in a matter of days, record time, even with the help of earth brands. The construction of the spire served not only to establish quickly a base of operations for the Registry, but to remind the citizens that it governed, that it had the capability and power and was willing to use it to perform such a feat. Yep, that sounds like the ruling class. Such dramatic music. Can you stop putting cats everywhere if you don't let me pet them? This is just cruelty. More lore, more lore. Once we had been called heretics. We were cast out from our lands, deracinated. Never heard that word. Labeled traitors and blasphemers. We were the other, the alien, the outcast. Yet we were but individuals. We were of many but were of no banner. We had myriad voices, but no clarion to lead us. We were scattered and we walked blinded by a foul light, but now we have begun to weave the tapestry that will bind us, begun to cultivate the soils that are to serve as the base of our civilization, a new civilization that will rip the yokes of our heritage off our backs and bury them underfoot. We are new people of a new nation now, and we will relish this freedom with guiltless ecstasy. We are our own leaders. Our laws will be fashioned under the hammers of our wills and not by divine rewards. Our mores will be shaped by sophists and sages and not by priests and prophets. We are united now. We are a people. An excerpt from the speech delivered by the very first Baurone, Ormeus Frigius, at the founding of the Registry, during the 10th Mesura of the first Canticle. A vast majority of Umber takes the Registry, the country's government, for granted, and I'm not saying this simply because I am, or at least was, a member of it. The Registry's duties in the city aren't all-encompassing. Many of the city's cogs are kept turning by the same aura, which has led to the proliferation of the opinion that they are responsible for little. This, however, is inaccurate. The modern Umbrian simply does not see the waves that the Registry makes, or the forces that it reckons with. A main responsibility of the registry is handling international affairs. To anyone on the streets of Umber, that concept might ring foreign. It is easy to forget, living in the city, that there exists an entire world out there, with other peoples and other nations and other societies. We are too concerned with surviving to think of the worlds across the Midnight Belt or beyond the echoing plains. Unfortunately, the reverse cannot be said. Umber, with its military power and flourishing cultural and economic landscapes, is a land upon which many other countries gaze. These gazes are often awesome in nature, but it is easy for admiration to turn into lust. The registry has concocted a great many ways to handle international relations that begin to sour, the list of which is too long to go into detail, and these measures have allowed the tiny country to survive. I am so enjoying all of this lore. Usually I'm not really a fan. I don't know what it is about it. But again, Transistor and this have this in common. I love it when it's done in this way. Usually I don't like to read that much in games like...
Any idea why the old man
was
wants to see
talking.
me?
Not a very
Cicero.
solid one. One of the Regenti has gone missing. And these walls should not be privy to this conversation.
Cool. I was gonna say, like for example in Dishonored, I'm sure that in Dishonored there's so much lore in all of the text that is scattered throughout the entire, throughout the world. But every time I see any of those, I just skip it. I never read it. I don't know what, like, I don't know what's the difference. But when it's like this, I love it. And I love lore. I always love lore of any kind, in any game, in any piece of media. I always love lore. So I don't know why in games like Dishonored, in most games actually, like even in Skyrim, in all of the, I mean Skyrim has so much text and like only 20% is actual proper lore. But I don't know. This game and Transistor both made it so particular. Like I don't know what it is exactly that both these games did well to make it so interesting for me particularly. Anyway, let's keep going. Ooh, Grey Blood Gavar. Oh, that's rude. I'm right here, you know. But yeah, see, Grey Blood. So, Cyrus had a grey banner because he was a Grey Blood, and I guess I was gonna say actually, then I got distracted by the lore thing. I was gonna say, did I get exiled just because of my brother, or did I try to help? What is the story there? How did I fit in the rebellion, I guess, that my brother started? Or I don't even think he started it, but it was part of it, like an important part of it. It was the leader, right?